All right, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start. So, in both, we probably have people from both classes, the cybersecurity technology and database security. And so there's a research paper. And a research paper, I think it's key, right? Especially if you're a grad student, because you want to have something that you can ultimately publish. So the key is to understand what particular ways can you craft a research paper, and what are the tools out there to make this job easier. And that's a big thing, because you do not want to spend a lot of your time just focusing on simply how to craft it, right? Where do I get the sources from? What's peer reviewed? A lot of these things may have been learned in your past if you're, but it may not have been, right? Different places do different things. So let's say you're looking at database security, right? We can say SQL, SQL injection, right? So we put in SQL injection in Google Scholar, and we just want to look up the maybe last 5 years or something close. This is 2019. We can see all the articles that show up with SQL injection, right? We can see the ones that are cited the most. Okay, detection of SQL injection based on artificial neural network. We can see who the actual authors are, and this is important. So when you try, you need to pull like additional resources. Then you can say, all right, well, let me look at this guy or gal. I don't know who the individual is, but I see that they're from university in China. Right. We have this. If you're on the IIT network, more than likely you may have access to some of these actual papers. If not, the author may release it on ResearchGate or Academic EDU or whatever um, social academic social network that they're using. And you may just email them directly, because they may say, "Hey, I have a copy. You can use this, preprint copy for your research." Right here, it shows two different versions. ACM, we have access to ACM Digital Library, so you can pull it up on ACM. Science Direct. Again, I'm not signed Illinois Tech, so it doesn't show up here, but it does show like the article, the findings. You can sort of see, abstract. What is the actual article about? Because one of the key things is when you have to write a paper, think about your topic, right? So you say your topic is SQL injection. You are going to just read literature based on SQL injection. Everything you read, write about 1 or 2 paragraphs about it, right? I tell people, if you can do this, you can do a dissertation, a PhD dissertation with ease. So you have an article, go through the article, see what's important, write 1 or 2 paragraphs about each article. So theoretically, 10 articles should be enough, because now you've read the article, you're like, okay, I know what it's about. I got the overview, more in depth about it. MDPI is open access, so if we click here, we can take a look at this one without a problem. So here's this article: detection of SQL injection attack using machine learning techniques, a systemic literature review. So, and with literature reviews are basically papers that review all types of literature about a particular topic. This one's actually good because it's actually talking about detection of SQL injection. So they're going to probably go through a lot of literature. If I go to the end of this particular paper, you'll see they have 50 references, right? 14 pages, 50 references. I could always go to these other papers and take a look. Click here, the link is going to take me to the Springer link, which has the article again. Use the university network. And this paper will have more references as well. So the cool thing is when you have an item, you find one good paper, look at the references, see what they're referring to, and then you can kind of just follow along. Another thing to do is you think about the if you're and this is if you're doing like a literature review and then just pulling literature. Now, if you're trying to do something that's really based in theory, you want to go to this page here. I'm going to share this link with you. This is the Brigham Young University Library, and its own information system. They have a lot of stuff about journals, theories. If you type in, go to theories and foundations, you will have every theory and foundation as it relates to information system. Every single theory here. So, say if you want to write your paper, you want it, grounded in theory, you can look here. Chaos theory, Click here on chaos theory. It'll tell you what chaos theory is. You go to the alternative name, the main independent constructs, very detailed description of the theory, who are the originating authors. And this is key because you want to understand like where did these theories, where they originate from? Like who was the person who came up with this, right? System usability survey, who came up with that? Here they're showing you, and they're telling you actually. And here's the actual article. And this I like a lot because now you can search the article for that theory. And so this is something else you can cite in your paper. So now you talk about a particular theory, you can cite, you can use these articles, the full information from it, and then you cite it. Now, if you go back here, again, there's more theories. I'm just gonna go and keep going. And we look at something. Yeah, design theory. There's the design science. This is one of the items that I like doing. I like doing design science. So it's showing what design science is. So you see the diagram of the theory. There's a source. So say if you have to use this in an actual paper, you're talking about design science. You know, you have this right here. You have this. You can recreate it your own, probably to make it look better. But you will cite the actual item here. You'll cite this. There's the citation for it. And here are the seminal articles. So the seminal articles are basically key important articles relating to this theory. Right? Key important articles relating to this theory. So you can see these articles right here. Then where does this theory originate from? Where does it come from? Philosophy. Articles that these are IS or information articles that use the theory, right? So these are the articles that use the theory. So this is a good one. Actor network theory, attachment theory. So all these theories are all written here. Everything is written here, right? Information warfare. They're going to write a paper, information warfare. Here's the theory. Here's the description about the theory. Here's the originator author. And you can see the article that uses the theory right here. And then I don't know if this is, some of these may not be active, but this one is. This is Dorothy Denning, and she's the Emeritus Distinguished Professor, Department of Defense Analysis at Naval Postgraduate School. So she has a link to her TED Talk. So you can follow so much more information to understand more about the particular item. So you can do information warfare. Okay, cool beans. Now you can go directly to the author's page. She has her TED Talks here. Sorry, she has her TED Talk. And then different items tracing the source of today's Russian cyber threat conversation. Now, you need to use peer-reviewed sources, but you can use a few that are non-peer-reviewed. Something like this would be okay, but it doesn't count as peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed would be actual articles. Like communications with ACM, you use something like this. And the great thing, she actually has links to her PDFs. So this right here is really amazing. And you see how I took one particular topic and I just kind of followed it down, right? So this is if you're going to use theories. So you have BYU. And so the other thing is, okay, you have literature review, you have case studies, so you can look up cases that deal with cybersecurity. I like to use quantitative stuff a bit. So there's something here called the System Usability Survey. So if you have time to do like a small research paper, actually go out there, collect data, something like this, takes maybe 10 participants. But System Usability Scale is really good. Here's the questions. There's a template. You can see the template here. And ResearchGate is a page that you should create. You should create a review page. See if I can read it. Okay, they have the item here. So here is the article about the sustainability survey. The scale, sorry, scale. And here's the scale right here. I've used the scale many times myself. I'm actually actively working on a paper that uses the scale on computer training in Nigeria that was conducted this summer. And this is a scale right here. And so when you have the scale, then you can basically translate these into results. I'm going to see if I can do something real quick. Marty Dawson. Because I actually have it here. I'm just going to search for it. They put it online for free. Let's see. I have other papers that use it. Walker. All right, perfect. So another paper that uses the system usability scale, and you can see right here. So this is before and after the training. This is actually if you want to do something. It didn't take long to get the results and stuff. But just to give you an example, again, this is quantitative. 16 participants before and after calculated grades based off the scale. And what we did was we showed an improvement on training in this developing country. This has been in West Africa. All right, so you have that. The other item is like if you use data set, you can save a lot of time as well. You can use data set, cite the data set, and then write your paper around the data set. So one of the websites that we talked about was the Global Terrorism Database. GTD start. The Global Terrorism Database. And they even have they show you how to cite the actual database, the data file, what country, where you're pulling the data file from, but it's right here. They even give further reading on actually using the database. And this is pretty cool because the data is right there, right? You can use this without a problem, and then you can cite stuff that are related. So let me get an example. So let's look and let's go here. Search. All right, you're gonna look at Haiti. You can see here now we're looking at various attacks, attack types, and all of this you can download and you can add this into your paper. And I've done this several times, right? So everything's already right here. You can also download everything, the actual full data set, and use this in like RapidMiner or Studio, but it's already here. Um, everything's right here. You just take it and then cite what you pulled up. So you show expand results. Then let's change the instance. All right, perfect. Yeah, and so all of this you can analyze into a paper, right? You can say, all right, I'm going to look at this country, I'm going to cite this item. Again, this is primarily for those that are working on cybersecurity technologies because there's physical security involved, but something like this would work for that. All right, so you have that, and then let's say you're going to do Haiti, start Haiti. Go back to Google Scholar real quick. So you can see here, there's a lot of stuff that comes up here in terms of the security environment for Haiti. But we're just going to look at recent years. Yeah, you can see stuff, right? So again, this is how you basically follow one link and you just go down a rabbit hole, as I say. You just follow one thing, go to the next, go to the next. So internal public security, missions of Brazil's military. Oh, we don't need that. Oh, actually, they're talking about they were in Haiti. Okay. Oh, okay. So Brazil has been the largest troop contributor and provided all force commanders to the UN stabilization mission in Haiti. Aha, I didn't know that. All right, and there's the actual author. We can follow the author. ORCID, it's pretty interesting because a lot of people have profiles here, a lot of researchers, but you can see the works of Christopher, and a lot of it is military focused. Okay, it's pretty interesting. I'll give an example myself. Dawson. Dawson's okay. All right, so yeah, everything is different works are here, and it's all interesting, cyber terrorism or whatever. I researching, get more detail. You want? Okay, here's the URL. The URL takes someone to the book chapter, the published item, and then this site's okay. Again, a lot of this is a paywall, so you have to find where it's put online for free. But here you can follow various references. So you just say follow, and this brings up the NIST guideline. NIST guidelines, you can use those freely. If you're going to use a NIST guideline or any Department of Defense publication, those are okay. They're not scholarly, but they're okay. They're better than just some random site. And if you need to, and then if you're doing something with controls, this is in particular for those doing database security, you want to reference control, then this would be the most appropriate thing. Either this or IEEE documentation, um, or even the Navier MIL standard. And that's for cybersecurity technology as well, the Navier standard for system engineering. All right, so you got that. Then there's other data sets. There's data.gov. This site is pretty awesome, right? There's 233,956 data sets available, right? So let's look at uh, data bricks to see what we can find. If we find anything. All right, so it said there was 132 data sets found for data breach. What you want is the CSV, right? You want the CSV. Because then you can put that in like RabbitMiner, analyze, and you can cite the actual data set. And then you can look around and find research relating cybersecurity to that particular town or whatever. Data breach notifications affecting Washington residents' personal information breakdown. Data breach notification. Okay, you want the CSV. That's all you want. So you would go here, look at CSV, because that will allow you to analyze the data. Right. So let's look here. I'm going to send you the link so if you can take a look at the data set if you want to. Oh, and there's a lot of information in the data set I'm actually looking at now. Yeah, take a look at the data set. It's pretty interesting. All right, so you got that. There's also these data sets as well. You just got to figure out which one are for. But you can see a lot of different stuff here. There's a ton of different data sets you can use. Again, I like them because it's easier to pull up data and to analyze the data. I think it makes the job a whole lot simpler and it makes your life easier. Now, if you're going to just look online, there are some data sets that you can just pull up, right? So here's one right here. This is awesome cybersecurity data sets, network traffic, web apps, software, URLs, domain names, email, fraud, honeypots. I'm going to give you a link here. You can follow down here as well. And then you can see all the data sets that relate to cybersecurity, right? Just a ton of interesting data sets. And you can actually go through here and use these data sets and then write your paper around the data sets and then cite items. So you can do some malware. Then you can write it up on malware. There is a part of the course where we do source code analysis for a cybersecurity technology course. So if you have a data set that you actually have access to, like open source, sorry, the software is open source, just available, then you can run the actual source static code analyzer against that, and then cite that static code analyzer tool using, and then you can pull down the CWE and then cite MITRE and stuff like that, and then you can find that particular vulnerability in Google Scholar, figure what somebody's researched about it, and then pull up the information. And you can see just by doing these simple things, you begin to really craft your paper rather easy. Now I'm going to show you. There's many different ways on how a research paper can look. This is just one. So this was done by a former student. Now he's actually a professor, teaching professor at the University of Missouri St. Louis, but he was my student. And so this is something that he wrote, right? You have your abstract. You don't need keywords, but if you're going to publish this, then you'll need keywords. But you have an abstract. Approximately 250 words is more than enough because this is what pops up in Google Scholar, right? Google Scholar is not going to put your entire a big abstract here. Pick up 250 words approximately, and that's what you want here. You're gonna have an introduction. So introduce your paper, provide some background because people, not everyone knows about what you're doing, right? Right. We had to provide a background about what we were doing and getting and the organization that we were working with. Now this is a little different because this is a francophone country, so we did add it in French, and then put the translation in English. So we talked about the background. We talked about the assignment, the U.S. aid assignment, what was actually done, how long was the training. Talked about we did some other items like economic impacts on agriculture. Then we talked about the environment, right? Talked about the enterprise network. We talked about the training computing environment, the target population size, and then we broke down the demographics a bit further. Talked about there are 20 people in the course, only 16 completed surveys. Each person was familiar with the basic use of the computer, the ages, what the ages were, and then here stating that the remainder were classified as adults per societal norms and Guinea. We talked about our survey tool that we use, the assessment ability scale, challenge that we had, explain our results, our observations, the observation that we had, and conclusion. That's simple, right? But every paper will be different. We'll go back here. I'll show you some more. All right, this is the perfect one. All right, so this one was talking about analysis of Botswana cybercrime legislation. So again, we give the abstract. What is the actual paper about? So the abstract is the first thing that people are going to read when they get your paper, right? What is this actually about? Hopefully, abstract is enough to get them in there. Abstract should be written kind of last. Write your paper first, then do the abstract. And conclusion should be just talking about your results and relating back to the abstract. So you have abstract, but please write it last. You give an introduction to the paper. We talk about internet freedoms because we are talking about the internet, and then we talk about the cybercrime and computer related crimes, and we pull the data from somewhere. So we mention where the data comes from. We talk about South Africa Cybercrime Act because the country is neighboring to the south. And we just kind of go through. Like I said, you can see every paper is different. Now you can do papers where you actually do an analysis or something, or you develop a tool. We should analysis. Let's see, actually, this one's good. This is on human trafficking. Again, this abstract was long. There's a lot of stuff we just try to condense, but we give an introduction on what it human trafficking, why someone should care. Then we talk about blockchain and Bitcoin as it relates to human trafficking. Then we talk about applying machine learning to learn the data. And then we talk about the data that we actually pulled. So we actually pulled this data. And the lead author is the one who actually pulled the data. And then you see the analysis of the data. That's why I said if you can get data, it makes your paper rather easy in writing, right? All this is data that was analyzed. Country exploitation is the pie graph for the victims of the country of citizenship. And then here it shows the top 10 countries of reported citizenship, right? People who are trafficked. And for those here in this great country, you'll see that the USA is really high up here. Then again, this is data that was analyzed. And I believe this was done in R. Yeah, this should have been done in R Studio. But yeah. So once we analyze all the data, we talk about areas of future research, we give a conclusion. And you can see in this paper alone, we had 14 references. Now, that's one. And then this is somewhere out on the internet for free. All right, it's out here for free. Okay. So this, when I mentioned you could also just analyze code, this was a project done with um, uh, a former grad student and a colleague from the Dominican Republic. And so we actually got an application. And here, again, abstract, we have an introduction. We talk about the structure of the project. So here we analyze source code for an actual organization. Give a structure, what we're doing, the application, the language that we're reviewing. Talk about the framework a bit. And then we talk about the static code analysis tools used for review. So what do we use in actually doing a review? And then here you can see what we've done, what reviewed, see the application, risk level. We talked about the findings. In cybersecurity technologies, we'll go through and run flaw finder, so you'll see exactly what I mean. Well, it was shown flaw finder analysis C, C++. When you run the application, it takes not even a minute. You'll get a ton of hits, and they'll tell you the CWE, and then from there you can go look up more information regarding that particular CWE found in the application. And you see here, in terms of critical, there was one critical, 26 high, 26 medium, 545 lows, and then informational 134. So we go through kind of the top ones found, and then talk about flaws by security level. And this is what we do. We just analyze source code. Now this was source code based off a fielded project. I can't say what the actual source code is for, but it's something that's actually fielded and used. And then here you can see references. So somebody here has cited. The only problem with like ResearchGate Academia EU, everything doesn't come through, doesn't come up, I guess, in terms immediately in terms of someone citing and stuff like that. So they go to references, and here are the references that are used here. Abstract, I can view static analysis in motion. Click view. This is like IEEE security, so I just have to probably search it, and it should come up. So you can see it's not entirely that difficult, especially if you start early. I'm going to show you something that was done recently by a student, or a student myself. And that paper is, okay, it's easier if I go to headset of mine. Okay, two students of myself and researcher from Portugal. So this was understanding the challenge of cybersecurity in critical infrastructure sectors. And what was done here was we looked at a timeline of events. When we talking about case studying, we looked at a timeline of events, and we took that entire timeline and we captured a threat, damage to occur, example keywords, and then we reference every particular threat, right? So reference this one, reference this one. We reference all these items in so people can actually follow what these threats are. Talked about Industry 4.0, introduction of 5G, proposed solution, and then our conclusion. And again, all these references used here, you too can follow them along. And so this researcher here, this is Andreas Vasilakos. I'm going to give you his information. And you can see what he's done. And a lot of this, he's now a PhD student, getting ready to graduate in December. But you can see the items that he's written himself. Right, pretty incredible for someone who's working on a PhD and working full time that they're still getting papers out and all that good jazz. This is a recent paper he published. Give you the link here. This is our department chair here. You can see a paper that he wrote. The need for global aviation cybersecurity and policy. And so again, many different papers will have different flavors, right? They have different flows and all that stuff. You just got to figure out what works for you and then make sure you can cover what you're trying to discuss. And I'm going to go to, should be some for related papers. Here you go, related papers. All right, perfect. The actual version of the paper, nicer version, I call it. You can see here, I believe he interviewed people. Yeah, he interviewed people for this paper. So you can see introduction, background of study, right? Everybody's the background, talked about the data gathering, what methodology, data gathering, the research population. Yeah, you interview people. So 16 people you interviewed. You see a lot of work went into his paper, right? Questions, sub questions, framework. So they can be very high level, I guess more of a review, or they can be very detailed or project driven. But the goal would be to take what you do and then get it published, right? That's the goal. All right. Any questions? You guys have been super quiet. Any questions? It's a safe zone. You can talk. All right. Do you have questions about any ideas or directions that you think that your paper is going to go? Would you like to discuss that? All right. All right. If that's the case, then we'll stop right here. And then next week, oh, Bilal, go ahead.
I have a question regarding the exploring network and analysis assignment.
Okay.
Can we go? So, hold up, let me give me 1 second to pull it up real quick.
Yeah. Let me stop the share, and then you can share.
All right. How do I? Oh, here it is. Share screen. All right, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
All right. So it says to create at least 40 custom transforms using various data sources for the Maltego data transformations. So do you want us to use?
Yeah, so the transform, so every time you run an item, you get a return. That's a transform.
Okay. So you don't want us to code our own transforms and whatnot, right?
No. You don't need to code anything. You need to create you just need to run the transform.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
Okay, that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
I feel like that was too easy to earn my paycheck for the month.
I actually have a question related as well on that matter regarding the Nmap assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just to make sure I'm understanding everything correctly. It's just running Nmap given one of the links you sent us earlier in the week, and then just jotting down and pointing out any of the with the filters through RStudio, just like noting down what was found and other ports, things like that, I assume.
Yeah, so when you run this stuff, run it into like a text file and create a report. And then you have that as a report, right? So you this is what you've done, right? So you've ran this report. If you're using Kali, then you can just use ZenMap. It'll create a report for you. But if you're using Ubuntu like I do and you have issues with getting the GUI installed, then just run that. And that will work for that.
Okay, awesome. And thanks.
No worries. Yeah. Oh, and Daniela, so remember to do that report. All you're gonna do is run the nmap command or whatever you want to do a slow comprehensive, you can let it run like overnight or whatever, and then have that output direct into a text file and you're good.
Okay, I'll put into text.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Professor, I have one more question about that network assignment. So just wanted to confirm, like all you have asked us to create, just run the 40 transform. So all those transforms should be there in the PPT, or should like 20, 25 should be fine?
Yeah. So with the transforms, you're gonna to make it easy, add in all the transforms possible, and then you'll be able to run. You can choose whatever transform you want to run, but then it'll allow you to get more information, right? So you can run transform on like a group or whatever, a text message, MAC address, whatever is publicly available.
Okay. And if like we need to make PPT as well for that, right?
Yes.
So how much transform should we like for screenshot? To take
Yeah,
screenshots, how much?
so with Maltego is easier, right? So Maltego is going to create a report already. So in Maltego, you can create the report, and then also you're going to give me the .mtgl. That's the Maltego file.
Okay. 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 All right. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
All right.
I have a quick question.
Nicholas, what's up?
It's just about the first assignment, the Wireshark one. Actually, first question is, where are the recordings for the previous classes? I couldn't find them anywhere on Blackboard.
Oh, so they're embedded and they're on YouTube. Let me give you the YouTube link.
Oh, okay. All right, awesome.
Everything is on YouTube. Like even the other class, they're on YouTube too. I mean, if you just like hear my voice that much, but let me give you the link. Here's
Awesome.
the page. All right. So here's the YouTube channel. And when you look at the video, I guess the way that the video is up there, it says like 2023 dash the 09, that's the month, that's September, then dash 21, that is the date. So you can just sift through there. And then, but I usually post recording no later than like 48 hours. Usually it's like within a couple hours, especially if I'm already on campus. I just post it, and you should be able to see the video.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm seeing those now. I just had one other question about the Wireshark part of that assignment. So I'm currently trying to get the data from Wireshark. I have the packets captured, and I'm just trying to get that data to either RStudio or an equivalent program. And I was just wondering what you saved the Wireshark capture as. I know there's a ton of options.
Yeah, just you can do CSV or TXT, either or should work. So CSV has common separated value. Then the text files, they usually should have something like comma or whatever to separate it. So either or, right? So you can either do it as both and to see what works best, but either of those two will work perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, I downloaded the capture as a CSV to get that to work, and I'm using Gephi. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yep.
And I've imported the file. However, you get the data visualization.
Yeah, but Nicholas, when you do Gephi, when you use Gephi or Cytoscope, any of those tools that do like you use graphs like that, you need to make sure that you select the node, and then from there it'll graph everything out. So select the node first.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause otherwise you're just getting that freaking box, and it's just like it makes no sense. So yeah, select the node first, and then you're good to go.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Any other questions for you guys? Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Have a good night, Professor.
All right, I'm about to eat dinner. I cooked dinner. I can smell it. So for those that don't know, cooking is like one of my hobbies. So I will see you guys. You guys enjoy.
Thank you.
See ya.
Have a good night. See you.